Welcome to another Monday Morning Inspirations. We are so glad that you have chosen to spend your Monday morning with us. Today we have a special guest, Johnny Joyner, and Johnny shares his experience, the good listener. His experience is the good and the bad of working as a Black man in healthcare in the field of hospice. And there's a quote that I want to share: the gift of being a Black male and working in hospice. And that's going to be part of the focus of today's message. So working in a hospice setting can require a lot of patience and resilience. It's hard to think of another profession with such constant exposure to dying. Supporting patients and their loved ones through the patient's final journey can be challenging, yet as intense and exhausting as hospice can be, just like any other job, it has its rewards. Good listening skills, excellent communication skills, and the ability to empathize with people are important qualities to have in this job. And Johnny says, I would like to share with you why I chose this profession and why every day I look forward to coming to work. Johnny has been with Gilchrist going on 7 years. He is a hospice for over 7 years. He is a hospice aide with the RCC Pine team, and he has been in the field for about 42 years. He brings 42 years of experience in healthcare. Johnny has 33 years of experience and loves to connect with people. He is a member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council and has performed at several GBMC and Gilchrist events, displaying his musical talents and wisdom. And without further ado, let's welcome Johnny Joyner.
All right, thank you, Wayman. I'd like to say good morning to everyone that's listening. That's part of this morning inspiration. I'm truly grateful and blessed and glad that I'm here. I'm glad that the team allowed me to share, and I'm gonna kind of give, part of me because it's way too much to give in the time frame that I have to speak about my experiences as a healthcare worker and then being a hospice in particular. I've been in healthcare, as Wayne said, about 42 years. I retired from psych. I was 27 years at Rosewood, 7 years PRN at Shepherd Pratt, and I retired from Spring Grove for approximately 4 years of psych training as a psych tech. And what brought me to a hospice, because really hospice called me, I remember about 4 diversity meetings ago, we had a speaker that was a priest. And this gentleman shared with us about we just don't show up to the hospice door. It's not meant for everyone. You may come, you may try, but you won't stay if you don't understand this is more than a paycheck. It's about an ability to connect. So it took me back to when he said, what happened in your life? He did a little exercise. He had each person to look back on your life and see what really caused you to be a healthcare provider before you end up in hospice. So I thought about my wife. We was married for about 1 year. Then my wife became paralyzed from an aneurysm. The aneurysm didn't destroy our life as much as the operation did, because the operation caused her to lose all functions. It caused her brain to swell. What was the wife became as a care. I was a caretaker. I was still working in healthcare. I left one job, went to the other, and bathed her. It was quite a turn of event, really, in my life. It was very, very challenging. I was a young man, about 23, 24, and she was about 30 years old. So I was faced with being a caretaker, and I didn't leave. I stayed because, to me, to leave someone when they're down or for reasons that are self-centered was not even part of my story. I came up with a very religious, spiritual background per se. Those same skills today I found works for me in hospice. I came to visit someone that was dying in TIPU. I went out on the balcony of TIPU. I had retired from the state by that time. And something said, this is what you're supposed to be doing. I looked at the care that I observed the staff. But it wasn't so much that, it was that I had retired from the state, but I didn't have the years. Something was still left undone. So I applied. I asked the person, how do you get in without the sorry, this song. How do you get in without having to wait and all that? So they told me exactly what to do, and I was able to get in within 3 or 4 months after applying. And this has been a journey. It's been a journey for so many things, because I don't think anything is not supposed to happen when you're in hospice. And I'm gonna jump around a little bit, trying to get everything in here real quick. So you see me moving from here to here, because I want you to get the full picture, but only in a short length of time. So, Sarah McCampbell, who was my first manager who hired me, she gave me, I had got great evaluations, period, but they was honest evaluations. They weren't just given to me. I had to earn them. And one thing that she said in my evaluation was, your level of care cannot be taught in the class. And I was glad that you was put into my life, or came my way, or something in the line of that. Because she had seen my struggles. She had seen how I went through changes with coworkers that was not as necessarily accepted to a man being in the hospital, especially a man that seemed like he was put here to really take this thing to the next level as far as care. Because I don't think care necessarily comes from what you learn as much as what you understand. Because ADLs and all that stuff is one thing, but to have the level of compassion that you have, that you're going to need, that hopefully that you have when you not in this not working, is something that is very important. Because my experiences with my patients and their families, and how day by day I start my day with prayer and meditation, and I ask God to bring forth the best day that they can have, and let me be the instrument, the tool that assists them. Because when you're dying, and by me working in psych was very important to me, because most at the end of this journey, a lot of people, patients and families have emotional challenges, psych issues, if you want to say, because death is something that nobody know how to deal with, and we as hospice providers, we have to have the insight to know how to give and say the right thing, to be there. And sometimes just listening, if you don't know anything else, just listen, and God will give you what to say. So, my whole thing, when I met, and I've met many wonderful experiences, along with, like I said, some challenges, challenges as being a Black man in the racist world, the challenges of being a man in a female-dominated world, knowing, and let me say this is more of a personal level about me. If anyone knows about empathic people, I am very empathic, and I don't mean empathy. It's you can pull up on YouTube. It says 12 traits of an empathic person. 12 traits of an empathic person. And if you read that, you'll say, "Yep, that's Johnny." If you know anything about me, it's me. Because one thing I've learned in working in the healthcare field, you have to work with people that you want to work with and people that you don't. But all of that is character building, because you just can't run and avoid why you was put here in the first place. Nothing happens to me that doesn't propel me to get through it with a lesson, because you can bring it, but I don't have to receive it, because my karma has put me here to be that vessel, to be that person, to be that friend, to be the person that understands that I need a little more patience. I need to personalize the patient. I need to give them what I would want someone to give me. I don't accept the mediocre. I just believe in healthcare. I personally learn the people that I serve. I learn their families. I let them welcome me in. I just don't come through the door just saying, "Look, I'm here to do this and do that." I let them invite me in with their spirit, with their eyes, and with their care. And I've had some very challenging patients, males, and some females, and it has always turned around to be a blessing for both of us. And so I'm gonna say about a couple of funny incidents that I've had. We had Gilchrist was going to do 2 stories on me, and a couple of people that I work with, because they was just so unbelievable. One was a 104 years old patient that used to call for me when I wasn't there. She ended up having forgiveness because she was 104, but she didn't have dementia. But she knew when I was there. She knew what I smelled like. She even threw a joke at me one day because I understand she was the type of that really particularly wasn't crazy about men. She was in assisted living, but she was so comfortable with me. And that's the patient that my pictures on the wall with at the Hunt Valley. And one time because she used to do things to see how you would react. And I had cleaned her up, and she said to me, have you cleaned down there? I'm like, yes, I cleaned down there. And she bust out in a laugh. And what she was telling me, she was so comfortable with me. She received everything I did, because this young lady, well, she was an older person. She was very, very sharp. Nothing could get by her. And it was a blessing, the relationship that we had, that I had to go inwardly and ask God to give me strength, because when she passed, I lost somebody that God put in my life to show me everybody is not the same. I had this another quick story, a patient who just passed, and the family actually recognized me through a pledge to Gilchrist, which I just found out about and I never met the family, but they heard about our relationship, and that hurt me when she passed as well. Her name was Miss Jefferson. And I remember, I like to put the makeup on the women, and I don't, the hospital gown, all that stuff. I don't know. If it's there, I'm gonna put it on them, because the family needs to see them. It just brings so much comfort to see the hair done, to see this done, to see that done. So Miss Jefferson wasn't that crazy about makeup, even though it was her makeup. So I had I put in lipstick on her, and just to show how sharp she was, she said, I said, I'm putting chapstick on you, Miss. I'm putting some chapstick on you. And she took her hand and she said, give me that mirror. She said, the mirror. She said, when is chapstick red like this? And she looked at me sideways like, look, I may be doing this or that, but I am not slow. And we bust out laughing. And then she said to me, only a smile, only a smile. And this is what I believe is required of us. Money is good. Families deserve the best. I've had challenging situations with the families as well. And I'm about to shut down about another 2 or 3 minutes, where I thought the family would receive me in one way, and they was waiting and received me in another. I have not had too many challenges from families that I wasn't welcome. And when I wasn't welcome, that was okay too, because my caseload was so full of love and people that drained me of it. There was no better way to be drained. God put me in Gilchrist because, I want to retire in 3.5 more years. I've been in health collective over 40 something years. There's a purpose in life when we all must find it. I believe I'm not finished. I have a lot more to learn, a lot more to give. But my people that God had put me in the life, not only of the patients, but their families as well. Husbands that normally want a man to work with their wife requested that I would be the one. Things that I just never dreamed would happen. The biggest challenges that I'm going to shut down after this was with colleagues. It has been sort of unfortunate and disappointing that some of my colleagues, my eyes are running. They saw me as I don't know what they saw me as. I think they feel like you should not be this good as a man. You should not care this much as a man. I've had facilities come to me and say, wow, we never seen a man do the hair and do this and do that. Well, I don't know what they'd be getting, but I wouldn't settle for anything less. And I had to understand in every field there come challenges. And God did not put me here with the ability and the strength and the desire and the experience to be what I am if I was not meant to be great at it. And one of the things I do understand, I don't know everything, and that gives me the ability to learn more. It's been a blessing to be at Gilchrist. The ones that found my race and everything as a challenge, well, as far as I'm concerned, that is experience for them to get better with. I am okay because I believe that he put me here to deal with all people, all races, all genders, all sexualities, all religions. And as long as I'm here at Gilchrist, my desire is to do the best, to lead with great dignity, and understand that one day I too may end up at Gilchrist. And I would not like karma to not be on the good side or the best side of me as a human being, as a Black man, and as an employee. And it has been nothing but an uphill journey that I would not give away, even on my challenging days, physically, because it could get physical. I am so grateful that I have these opportunities. I met some great people, management, Kathy Hamilton, Stacy, Diane, women, Kathy, I can go on and on and on and on and on. So I am where I'm supposed to be. I don't see color. I see spirit, I see people, and I see I'm where I'm supposed to be. Thanks for allowing me to get my experience.
Oh, Johnny, thank you so much for being here today. And your words, your insights, your wisdom, it touched and inspired everybody on this line. And before I open it up to questions from the group, I wanted to ask one thing. So you shared about being highly empathetic, and I've seen that in you, and I've had an opportunity to work with you over these past few years. So when you're empathic, people tend to feel and soak up the emotions around them. So
Yeah.
how does being so empathic here at Gilchrist affect you when you go home? What do you take with you, and what do you let go of?
It affects me in a way that I have to find a quiet place away from people, away from everything that's not positive, because the ability of being empathic means I can see the need of the person. I can feel what they're going through. You'd be surprised how a touch with someone can calm the waters and how it can just turn things around, because, it's hard to kind of explain, but it's very draining. And it also keeps, kind of your guards up against people that's trying to interrupt my purpose as an empathic person. Because to really be successful at what I do, you need to be spiritually centered. You need to feel, and not necessarily the person is dying, but the person is going to another level. And whatever it is, whatever they believe, I'm here to be a part of that process. Not to say one way or the other what it is, don't matter, but they need the right people in the right place as God takes them, out of this world. So it leaves me need to refill my spirit with positive things, but mostly with quiet things and in meditation. Yeah. I hope I answered the question.
You did, and thank you. And I'd like to open it up to anyone here that wants to ask a question, give a comment, and also feel free to add your comments and questions in the chat.
Okay.
Johnny, what an inspirational message. You truly are, I can just feel your joy. And there's an old saying, the Buddha said, you find your work and you do it with all of your heart. And it is so true that you found your work and that you're doing it with all your heart. So thank you. But my question to you is, you mentioned about starting your morning with prayer. Can you tell us a little bit about your morning ritual?
Well, first thing I put on, I pray before I get up, ask God to prepare me for the day. Things I see and don't see, prepare me to respond the appropriate way, give me the strength from a place of overflow, that I be able to show up and not shortcut any of the people that I serve or the places that I go, because when Gilchrist will come in these facilities, you know, we should have the right temperament. And then I have a station I listen to, because 95.1 Shine FM. Really, that after prayer, that's what I turn on, is Shine FM. And I'd be thinking really about my day the night before, because I know my patients and I know the needs, and I know when to show up, where, and what to do. And unfortunately, I have great relationship with the facilities. So whenever I go, they know I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, regardless of what time of day it is. So that's how I start, with prayer. But I also have some devotional readings that I do. I definitely have devotional readings, and may even speak to another spiritual person during that morning. Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a comment in the chat from Renee Joyner. Thank you, Johnny, for sharing your story with us. You are so passionate about your work, and it is a pleasure working with you. The impact that Johnny has on
Thank you, Renee.
Yeah.
Awesome manager.
And if you have a question, you can just jump it up. Michael has raised his hand.
I just know, as a fellow man in the direct care nursing side, I feel you. And it is this weird paradox of, you feel this need to be almost above and beyond to beat kind of the stereotype. And then at the same time, we kind of get this, oh, look at how wonderful you are, just because they don't expect a man to do these things. And it's a weird paradox to navigate. And I understand that. And you spoke very nicely of how that kind of feels and how that affects you.
Thank you.
I wanted to, along those lines of being able to provide this care, going above and beyond. Earlier, Johnny, you shared that, I think during one of your evaluations, you heard from your manager, this level of care cannot be taught in a classroom.
Yeah.
And you said that care is more about what you understand. Having a level of compassion is very important, the level of compassion that you need. So
right.
It's not learned in the classroom. Where did you learn your compassion?
Mine's come from, like I said, I've been in healthcare for 40 something years. Mine's come from, just having so much experience with psych, with substance abuse, with, I was back with the HIV/AIDS stages, and I understood that if I'm going to pick and choose how I'm going to react versus one over the other, I'm in the wrong field. Mine's come from, I guess, being connected to another human, because I think at the end of the journey for people, their defenses are down. Even with their biases and prejudice in their families, they need help. Some of them may not know it, but as a healthcare provider, we should have the ability to see it. You can't teach somebody how to love and how to listen. You can't teach somebody to see the small things that's not being done. When I walk in the room, I look around, I feel before I act, if I make sense with you. If a situation is not right, before I do anything, I get it right. First, I get it right with me. I get my mind in the right place. And sometimes, like I said, it could be chaos with the patient and the facilities, and a lot of stuff that I stop at the door and I start my day over with that person to be able to give them what I have. And what I missed today, tomorrow I'll come back and I'll pick up on it. Because again, it's about building relationships. And when people are dying, their emotions can be up and down and all around. Their families is stressing. You can be that target boy or you can be their support board. I have mostly been the support board. There has been times I have been the target board. That's okay too. That's where they're at. That's not where I'm at though. I just keep it moving because I realize at the end of the day, it's not about a power struggle. It's able to see, can I make a difference? Can I get my job done? And can I do it right with the least amount of interference? Because when people are dying, their spirits is all elevated. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I should not be a part of the problem, but a part of the solution. So that's what I mean about insight. You got to have insight. Your manager, your team can't be there to hold your hand. You got to learn. And I've been in this field long enough to know that I've learned a lot and I'm still learning. And I think that's one of the wonderful things to know that you don't know everything and don't treat everybody the same way. Treat them with the love, but treat them with the love that they understand. I don't care if this is dementia patient or any of that. Oh my God, I remember, I'm gonna say it real quick. One of my patients, she had the worst case of psoriasis I ever seen. It looked like Charlie Brown psoriasis. When the one, the blanket, it was like the staff was so afraid of her. She was a retired school teacher, 70-something years old. She was a wonderful, wonderful lady. And I was able to get in there, clean those psoriasis up with the help of the nurses, with the right care. She was at Lori, Washington Boulevard. Got that wonderful lady up in the chair. She was looking so forward to seeing me. I mean, she was all there mentally. She just had, I guess, liver problems. Got up in the chair. The facility was could not believe I got up in the chair. I washed her up in the shower, took her down the hallway, her hair combed back a little, give her sunglasses on. And they was like, wow. They have never was able to get her up because I guess they wasn't the one that was supposed to do it. And they appreciated me so much when I left that they gave me a luncheon because I transferred to RCC Pine. But those are the things, and we don't do it because we look for praises or approval. At least I don't, because I believe that the people that do the hardest work is least recognized anyhow. And then, unfortunately, we don't get the accolades that females get, and that's okay because God sees it all. And that's what matters. Not what man sees only, what God sees, and who I believe in strongly. That's why I know I'm where I'm supposed to be, because when I see my patients look for me, comfortable with me, even in their most confused state of mind, they know I'm there. I know how to whisper in their ear, just Johnny, because they become combative and everything. And to me, I don't say I look for, confrontation but that's okay. They're not doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because that's where they are in their journey. And you have to understand it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Johnny. And that story of this woman who was living with psoriasis and how you were able to get in there and clean her.
Cleaned it up.
Others.
It was cleaned up.
Yep.
She was looking just like your skin and mine.
Yep. And I think that leads us, that's a great way to close. And I want to just lift up a couple of comments in the chat that help highlight this. From Lori, being in this field requires us to know the whole person. Meeting people where they are. And it seems like you've mastered that. Thank you for sharing. So as you said, you're always learning, but in this aspect, you've mastered that. And Diane says, thank you for all you do for our patients, their families, our community, and us. We are so fortunate to have you on our team. We have so much to learn from you. Johnny, and Gail shares, Johnny, thank you for your inspiration this morning. I too have much more to give, and I'm looking forward to working in the end of life care.
Awesome.
Looking forward to working in end of life care. So you've touched a number of people, and as the host this morning, you've obviously touched me. It was Johnny and Robin that recruited me to the Diversity Council, and Johnny just has a way of seeing certain things in people, and I think that's part of your compassion, your empathy, you're meeting people where they are. And you're an amazing member of our team, and I'm grateful to know you and work with you. And with that, thank you everyone for signing in today. Although I feel like we could just go longer, you know, but I won't do that. And I know you have things to do too, Johnny. So, but
yeah, I got a full day.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to you coming back. So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.